Okay, so today I'm going to tell the story time of the guy that caused me to delete Hinge.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So this video is a video of a young woman who came to share the story of the reason why she deleted Hinge, and she wanted to give this story of how she met a guy on Hinge and the guy was what led her to delete the app, because after going through Hinge and doing Hinge for years and doing both hookup on Hinge and trying different way to get men to come into her, that it all adds up when she met this last guy and everything just went downhill, and now she has deleted the app. Let me know if you're on the dating app and what do you think about using dating app to find love. What are your take on it? And have you found love? Because I know some people that have found love on dating apps. Okay, so let me know if you found love, if you believe on dating app, and what you think on finding love on dating app. So this lady, she's in New York and she's just swiping and she's doing things, and she wanted to really give in detail how she met the guy, what it was like dating before she met the guy, how she met the guy, how things go, and how this guy led to her like not wanting to be on Hinge anymore.
Okay, so today I'm going to tell the story time of the guy that caused me to delete Hinge. So all this happened like beginning of September, so a little over 2 months ago. I officially deleted Hinge. I did re-download it like the weekend after or so when I got drunk, but I would like literally delete it like right after, and since then, like even when getting drunk, I don't even re-download it anymore. So it's been officially completely off my phone for 2 months, so super proud of myself for that. There's many reasons why I deleted Hinge, like beyond just this individual guy. Like I've been on the app for almost 2 years now, and I've met a ton of guys from it, especially this year. I feel like I've met the most people I ever have from dating apps since getting on it, and I was just super tired of it in general, not just because of this specific guy, but this guy was definitely like my last straw and like what caused me to be like, okay, I need to like cut the cord, delete it, try something new. Okay, so now getting to the story. So prior to this guy, I need to give some context. Like, as I said, I met a ton of guys from Hinge just like in the past 2 years, but especially this year, like after I started getting back into dating around April, May, I met like a bunch of guys back to back, and I was like seeing a couple guys simultaneously. Obviously did not go my way, just wasn't going well. And some of those situations like really crushed me, like was not doing well. Like you can go to my other story times to hear a little bit more about that. And a lot of people were telling me already, like, maybe you should take a break from dating, maybe you should delete dating apps, but I was like super adamant on not doing that. I was like, I'm out here trying to find my man, I'm out here trying to find my person, and like the apps are just like a big way of being able to do that like nowadays. Like, so I just like was not willing to give up on it, because I was like, how else am I gonna meet people like organically in the wild? It's like so hard to do, especially in New York. So like I'm not gonna delete Hinge, I'm just gonna like do Hinge better, I guess. So how I use Hinge like prior to like my change, like prior to beginning of September, early August, was like pretty standard. Like I just like, swipe, match with guys, like we'd have a little bit of conversation on the app. If that was going well, I'd give them my number. If they asked, then we'd start talking like over text message, and then like, they'd usually ask me out, we go out.
Exactly.
And if I see them like at least like 3 times, by the 3rd time, usually that's when I'd bring up, if I like them, I'd bring up like, hey, I like you, I want to get to know you, what do you think, like what are we doing here, obviously just to see like what direction we were going in. And in my experience, it would usually go in one of 2 ways. Either like they would like say like they just wanted something casual, for whatever reason, and initially I would still go out with a guy that would say that. More recently, I would not go out with a guy that says that. Or they will say something along the lines of like, yeah, like I like you, I want to get to know you, but like let's do it in like a go with the flow kind of way. And I used to be like okay with that. I was like, okay, like that's not casual, that's not like just like fucking around. Like to me, I saw that still as a distinction, and I would be like, okay, that's like good enough for me to continue going out with a guy. So I wouldn't like X that like I would X the first situation, which I only started doing more recently. I used to not even X that. So now I realize like both those situations should be X. Like I was like, if a guy is not looking for something serious, if he's not looking for a relationship, like anything less than that is no to me. Like I should interpret it as that, because like especially this year, like I've had at least like 2 guys say to me like, oh, like this is not casual, like I really want to get to know you, but can we do it in like a go with the flow kind of way, or like I just want to see where things go kind of way. And I ended up getting So I was like, no, like I need a super clear, straightforward, like, I want to get to know you. I want to see if we can do something serious.
Exactly.
Like, I need that straightforward answer before I can actually, like, consider you as, like, an actual prospect in my life. So, like, with this mindset, what I did on the apps was basically, obviously I'd be, like, chatting with guys, and then, like, they'd ask for my number, and before giving my number, I'd be like, hey, like, so I need to know, like, what are you looking for right now? And based on that, like, then I would decide whether or not I would give my number, or, like, at least just, like, my mindset around, like, how our relationship was gonna look like. So usually I would get one of two answers. One, which I, like, literally got only one time, very straight up, was, oh, like, I'm looking for, like, a long-term relationship. I'm looking for something serious. And obviously, if a guy said that, like, no issue, I would just give my number. And the second thing, which is what I got way more often, was I just, like, want to see where things go and, like, go with the flow. And, like, if something turns into something serious and special, like, great. But if not, like, at least I got to, like, meet a new person and, like, have a fun experience. And if a guy said that, so at first, I just would, like, straight up not give my number. I'd just be like, hey, like, I'm actually looking for something serious, so don't think it's a good idea if we talk anymore. But obviously, like, most guys are not saying the first one. So, like, after around, like, a week of trying this, I just started, like, being like, hey, look, I'm not looking to be confused right now, so if you're not looking for something serious, that's totally chill, but then, like, we need to be, like, strictly casual and physical. Like, I don't want to be, like, going on dates. I don't want to be, like, talking cutesy and stuff. Like, I need that, like, very clear distinction. So, like, that's what I was doing end of August, early September, when I was, like, on Hinge giving my number to guys. So I ended up, like, specifically, like, giving my number to 3 guys during this time. 2 of them irrelevant, never ended up meeting, but one of them, okay, so now I'm really getting into it. So what happened with him was, like, he was, like, the first guy that, like, I brought up the whole what are you looking for question to on Hinge, like, before moving to numbers. And he is one of the ones that said, like, I just want to, like, go with the flow and see where things go, blah, blah, blah. So I ended up saying to him, like, hey, I'm looking for something serious. I'm looking for something long-term. Don't think it's a good idea if we keep talking. So we stopped talking for, like, around a week, I said. And then, like, after a week, I still thought he was cute. So I re-messaged him and I was like, hey, actually, like, you know, if you're down for something, like, physical and casual, like, actually, like, I'm cool with that. Like, just, like, let me know. And he ends up responding immediately. He was just like, hey, like, what made you change your mind? But then he also said he changed his mind. He was like, actually, like, I'm also looking for something long-term and serious. And he was just kind of, like, explaining his, like, mindset behind it. He was like, but, like, I don't want to put, like, too much pressure on it. Like, in his words, he said, ideally, the situation has legs. I don't know 100% what he meant by that, but, like, I kind of understood what he was getting at. Like, basically, he wanted, or what he said he wanted, was to, like, work towards something serious, like, see if we could do that, while also, like, not having that as, like, a high expectation to, like, prevent disappointment, like, something like that. So obviously I was, like, skeptical. I was like, okay, like, then why did you say the whole go with the flow thing at first? And he was like, honestly, I was, like, a little scared when you said that, because it's honestly, like, exactly what I want right now. It's exactly what I'm looking for, but I just, like, have some dating trauma, and was like, if you give me your number, like, I can explain everything. So I ended up giving him my number, and we ended up, like, texting for, like, 2-3 hours that night, where we're both basically, like, spilling our dating trauma to each other. Like, he's telling me, like, he just moved from San Francisco to New York, like, over the summer, and just, like, got a new job, and, like, he had some, like, situations, like, earlier this year, last year. He was basically, like, cheated on by his, like, situationship, but it was, like, an exclusive situationship. I think he said he was cheated on twice. I don't know if it was twice, but it was definitely at least once, and the one that, like, definitely happened was, like, just early this year, and, like, super impacted him, and that's why he said he was, like, being really cautious, because his mental health turned really bad because of that, and he, like, wasn't looking to experience that again, and, like, that's why he was, like, not clear with his first answer with me, I guess. Like, that was his explanation for everything. He was like, I just, like, didn't have good girl situations in San Francisco, I was cheated on, blah, 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 I've been so hurt, and that's why I'm, like, you know, like, working on, like, being open again to that kind of thing, even though it's exactly what I want. I tell him like all of my dating trauma, and in the end, like he ends up being like super sweet about it. He was like, okay, sounds like we're both like pretty broken people, but like I hope we can figure it out together, and I would still like love to take you out, love to talk more about it, and like love to get to know you. So I was getting like super excited about it. At this point, I was actually still at my aunt's place in New Jersey, and he literally was like willing to Uber me like the $100 Uber from New Jersey to like see me like that night, because I was like, I'm not coming back till tomorrow, and like then I'm going to Boston. But he wanted to see me so badly. Like he was just like, this might sound crazy, but like I want to see you tonight. Like I'll Uber you, blah blah blah. And I was like, this is insane. Like, but it just like felt so nice to be so strongly liked, you know? And what I did not realize is that this was the start of massive love bombing, which I will get to in part 2. I know this was super long-winded part 1, but I will get into it and the story won't be too much longer. Okay, so continuing the story, as I said, he wanted to Uber me from New Jersey to see him, but I was like, no, this is crazy. I'm gonna be back so soon that we could just meet up then. But I go to Boston like pretty much immediately when I get back to New York, so I'm not able to see him when I get back. But him and I are texting like 24/7 every single day when I'm in Boston. Like when I say it was like constant texting, it's like because I was in Boston with my family, with our family friends, so I was pretty occupied, but I felt like my phone was buzzing every 2 seconds. Like sometimes I just like wouldn't be replying because like obviously I was off doing activities, eating meals and stuff with the people around me, but he would still like text me even if I wasn't saying anything to him. Which at the time, like, obviously felt, like, really good. Like, it felt like, oh my gosh, like, this guy is, like, super interested in talking to me and getting to know me, and he actually, like, likes me. And he was saying so much love bomby shit during this time. Like, obviously, like, I was getting overwhelmed, and I kind of expressed that to him. Like, I was like, yo, even in texting, like, you're kind of being a lot right now. Like, it feels good, but it feels like a lot. Because he would say stuff like, this feels so different, this feels so special, like I have such a good feeling about this, like I think like there can actually be something here. He would be talking about the future all the time already, like all these future dates we would go on, like, oh, like we're gonna go eat Filipino food together, we're gonna go shopping together, and I'm gonna buy you a Aritzia because like it's your favorite clothing brand. We're gonna go on vacation together and like be on a balcony by the beach. We're gonna like take these pictures together and they're gonna look so good. Like it was just like insane. Like he was just like painting this like full picture of our time together, our relationship, and we hadn't even met yet. And like he kept repeating like that, like he didn't want to like up because like this felt so different, this felt like it could really be something. And like he was acting like he was the scared one. He was just like if you see me for a bit and like you don't want anything to do with me, like just communicate, just like be honest with me. Okay, now this feels like the time I should add this in. So obviously the big topic, sex, comes up, right? Because like him and I had kind of talked about like hoeing around, especially this year or just like in general in our lives. And it's just like been a topic for me that like I've been thinking a lot about, just like with guys and relationships in general. And I told him like my stance on it, that like I truly do not care when I do it with a guy. Like it does not change how I feel about him, how I view our relationship, but I know that it can for guys, and I don't love that. Like in my ideal world, like nobody cares about it, and like my ideal guy doesn't care about it, but it's not like this harsh deal breaker for me. So I just like kind of was super upfront with him that I was like, how much do you care about that kind of thing? Like let's just like be honest about it, because we were already talking about everything. He at the start basically was like, oh, like I have to wait until like third or fourth date, like depending on chemistry, it's just like a non-negotiable for me. And I was like, great, like then we wait, like not a big deal for me. Somehow though, like in our conversations, like I don't really know how to describe it, or I can't even really explain how it started, but the conversation at points would turn like dirty, talky, sexual, definitely from his end. Like I was not sparking any of that shit, but obviously, like as I said, since I'm cool with it, like I was not shutting it down, like I would entertain it, and since we were like talking like that like a good amount of the time, we just kind of like started talking about like, okay, like does like the 34 date rule still stand for you, blah blah blah. And then obviously like there was like no commitment here, because like who knows, like we were like, okay, what if we hate each other after the first date? But it kind of became like apparent that like, okay, like if the first date goes well, we will probably like sleep with each other immediately. Like this is such a weird thing to explain. Like, I can't even really explain it, but like we were just like talking about sex in general, and we both in the end were just kind of like, oh, like we've been insecure about it because of other people, but like we both really don't care, so like it should be fine. I don't know, like it was just all a lot so fast. It was like I felt like I was divulging my entire life, all my mindsets and my thoughts on dating to this guy, and he just seemed to be on the same page for everything. Okay, as I said, huge love bombing when I was in Boston, like literally telling me how much he liked me, how excited he was to see me, how good of a feeling he had about whatever was going on between us, that he could really see us like getting into something long term, like saying all the date ideas we would do together and all the life we would experience together, and like that we were both broken but we would like help each other out. I don't know, it was just a lot. And he kept saying that like this was all scaring him, like it was scaring him how much he like enjoyed talking to me and how like much he was feeling about our situation already before even meeting. And obviously like I was feeling overwhelmed by what he was saying, but obviously it feels good to be like said these things too, so I was also feeling the same things. We were talking nonstop like this for like a week, so you can imagine like all the ideas that were like getting in my head like right before like I even met this guy. Like I was like seeing and picturing this future I already had with him, even though I hadn't met. Like it was actually insane. It's really insane to look back on now, but like that's just what I was feeling at the time, and that's kind of what he was doing like with his words through my phone. Okay, I gotta go to work for the rest of the day, so gonna finish the rest of this later. Okay, so I come back from Boston, and literally like the day I came back from Boston and I was arriving like almost at midnight, he already wanted to see me. He was like, you can come over, we can cuddle, blah blah blah. Like he wanted to see me immediately, but I was like, no, like I'll literally see you tomorrow, it's chill, it's fine. But again, like all of this is flattering me. I'm like, oh my god, he like wants to see me so badly, like he wants to get this started. So okay, anyway, so the next day we meet for drinks for the first time like right by my apartment. We have our first date, and it was like good. Like it was a really good first date. Like I remember like seeing him walk up and I was like, oh, he's so cute. Like I'm so excited to like get to know him and finally talk to him for the first time. So we're at the bar for like around 2 hours, I want to say. Just like we grabbed 2 drinks each. We talked about like just everything that was going on, just a lot about ourselves, just like really got to know each other like at the bar. Like it didn't feel super awkward because we'd like talked so much like prior to this, and like it felt like I already kind of knew him to some degree, so it didn't feel like, oh, like this was like completely starting from scratch. Like it was just really good. Like definitely one of my better first dates. I just really enjoyed myself already. And then after the 2 hours, he was like, oh, like do you want to grab ice cream around the corner at the Venchi? And I was like, yeah, totally. So we walk over to the Venchi, and that's when he starts getting like a little bit touchy. Like we were waiting in the line, and he kind of just like slips his hand like around my waist, is like pulling me against him, and I was like, ah, like the butterflies were like going crazy. He pays for the ice cream too, and then we like walk around while eating it. It's just like super cute. Like we're just like walking around eating ice cream like we're a couple. Like I don't know, like I see couples in the wild doing that and I'm like, oh my god, I wish. And for that moment I was like, oh my god, that's me. So after a while, like we're walking, we're talking, and then he's just like, oh, like I don't really want to finish mine, like do you want to finish yours? And I was like, like not really. So we both just like kind of like throw it away unfinished. And then like we're at the street corner like right by my apartment, and he just like, I don't really know how it happened, but he just kind of like turned me around and like kissed me for the first time, and I was like, oh my god. And then like we're making out for a couple seconds on the street corner, and then he pulls away and he's like, I've been wanting to do that all night. And I was like, me too. And then he was just like, where's your apartment? Like, is it close by? And I was like, yeah, it's like literally right there. And he was like, can we go up? And I was like, yeah, we can. So then he comes up, we're like making out more in the elevator. Like we go to my room, and obviously like, you know, the whole thing happens. So then we're like lying in my bed afterwards, we're cuddling. And then I'm so used to this. I basically like reiterate to him again. I was like, look, like you kind of got like what most guys want. Like, no. And you know what? Like, if that's all you want, like, I'm still gonna give you an out right now. Like, if sex was your ultimate goal here, that's completely cool. I'm not gonna, like, get mad at you or anything. Like, I would just like you to be, like, upfront with me right now if, like, this is all you really wanted from me. And, like, you know, we could still either never see each other again, or we could, like, proceed with a casual relationship where we just do this and just keep the physical component of our relationship. He, like, again, like, is like, no, like, I really want to see this out with you. I really want to see if we can do something long-term and serious. Like, I don't do situationships. I don't do casual relationships. I think it's, like, really unhealthy, especially for me. And, like, I told you, like, if we were going to do this, like, we were going to do this, and I still mean it. And he was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, if we were at the bar and, like, I didn't like talking to you, I didn't think we got along, like, I wouldn't have come up and slept with you. Like, I only was gonna do this, like, if I genuinely, like, saw something with you and if I actually liked you as a person. I'm still kind of, like, very wary, and I'm, like, still questioning him a little bit. Obviously, like, my anxiety about this kind of thing shoots through the roof, and I literally was like, are you sure, like, you could just be totally honest with me? And he literally was like, please, like, chill out, like, I promise you, like, I want to see you again. Like, it's not all about sex to me, even though that was really fun. Like, again, like, I like you as a person, and I really want to see if we can, like, make things actually work. So obviously I was like, okay, like, I believe you. Like, what else am I gonna do? Like, question him more? Like, I was already questioning him a ton. And then he was just like, do you want to go out again this Saturday? Like, we can go mini golfing, do an activity. And I was like, okay, like, sure, like, that sounds good. So we were just, like, cuddling and talking, like, till super late, and eventually he was like, you know, I would sleep over, but, like, I wasn't prepared to do this. I wasn't sure if this was gonna work out, but, like, during the week, if you're free, like, could I hit you up before our date on Saturday? And I was like, yeah, like, of course. And he was like, yeah, like, maybe we can, like, do this again, like, before our date. And I was like, okay. Another detail I forgot to add, so when I started seeing him, like, I was seeing, like, one or two other guys, like, from Hinge, also, like, completely casual, completely physical. And I just wanted to, like, let him know super upfront, because, like, it's been a problem with other guys where, like, they'll, like, find out later on, or I'll tell them later on, and they feel, like, a certain type of way about it. So I, like, just kind of wanted to avoid that this time. So I tell him, obviously we're not, like, exclusive, we're not in a relationship, like, I wasn't gonna let him, like, control me, but I just wanted to have, like, an open conversation about it, like, see how he felt about it. So his take on it was obviously, like, he was like, I'm not gonna stop you from seeing other guys, like, I think that's wrong, especially because we're not, like, serious or exclusive or in a relationship yet. But he, like, made very clear with me, he was like, but, like, I obviously don't love that you're doing it, and, like, you know, if you ever feel like that urge, like that physical urge, since it's, like, completely physical with them, as you say, like, I would prefer that you come to me instead of them. So essentially what he was telling me was like, oh, I'm not gonna stop you, it's okay, you can do whatever you want, but since your relationship with them is completely physical, like, if you are feeling that urge, come to me instead to satisfy it instead of them. And I don't know, like, all of that, like, everything he'd said on our first date, everything he'd said prior to our first date, and just, like, the fact that he was, like, a little bit possessive of me, like, I don't know, it, like, made me so, like, giddy and excited, and, like, it made me feel just, like, good about the situation. Like, I had so much hope in it from the start. I gotta go back to work, so I'm gonna finish this later and get into the whole week where we saw each other almost every day. Okay, so as I said, first date happens, went well, and then he asked me already, like, on the first date, like, oh, would you be down to, like, go out again on the weekend? And I was like, yes. And then we texted about it. He was like, how does, like, mini golf on Saturday sound? And I was like, great, amazing, super excited. So obviously, like, we're still continuously texting, like, 24/7. The next day, like, we're texting while we're both at work. I'm like, ooh, this is so fun. So I had my own plans the next day. Obviously, I did not think I was seeing this man 2 days in a row. I literally had dinner with my family. I get back from dinner with my family around, like, 9 p.m. And again, we were texting, like, throughout this entire time. And then he kind of was just like, oh, like, do you, like, think you need a cuddle tonight? Like, I can offer my services. And I was like, yeah, sure, if you're free. And he's like, okay, like, I'm on my way. So he Ubers up to me, and he's like, hey. And obviously, like, we hook up, but we also just, like, lie in bed, cuddle, and talk. And he's like, oh, if it's okay, like, can I sleep over? Like, totally up to you, though. And I was like, yeah, like, I'd love for you to sleep over. So, like, we're in bed, like, it's around midnight, like, we're about to go to bed. And then, like, he keeps looking at his phone, and then suddenly he's just like, I think I actually need to do work right now. And I was just like, dude, like, what the heck? Like, it's literally midnight. And he was like, well, it's still 9 p.m. in California, so I'm not off the clock yet. Like, I have to go home and, like, do these models, blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm so sorry. And the funny thing is, so he'd actually brought his laptop because he thought he had to work. And I was, like, cool with that. But then he was just like, I think I need my monitor. Like, I need a bigger screen to be able to see what I'm doing. So I need to go home. I'm sorry. This is so weird. And I was like, like, what am I gonna say to him? I was just like, okay, like, I guess see you on the weekend. So before he left, like, I did ask him, I was just like, do you actually like what you do? Like, it takes up so much of your time, it's literally killing you. Like, do you at least like enjoy what you're doing? Like, do you like the choice that you've made to do with your life? And he essentially had this like mental breakdown in my bed over it. He was like, I'm soul searching right now. Like, I did banking for 2 years. Like, I did the internship and then I went straight to IB, did the 2 years in this like really prestigious group. And I just like put my head down and did it. And like, I was working 100-hour weeks. Like, I wasn't sleeping. I was just like not moving, not exercising because I didn't have time for everything. And then all I could do was like drink on the weekend when I had time to cope. I gained so much weight. I was so stressed, blah, blah, blah. He was saying how it was just like so bad for his like physical and mental health for like 2 years, but he just kind of like stuck it out because he couldn't like leave, I guess, in those 2 years. I don't really know how it works. And obviously like he recruited for private equity, and he was saying like they promised that it was gonna be better. They said like by the very least that I was gonna get like off at like this time on Fridays and like have my weekends, but like I don't know if that's the case. Like obviously right now like this is where I am. And he was saying that like even if he like doesn't have work, like he always has to be at the office. Like he showed up at 9:34 one day instead of 9:30, and they got mad at him. And then like he basically has to work starting on New York time, so like 9 a.m. here, but he has to keep working until like California stops, which is like midnight in California, I guess. And then he went like through all the reasons like why it might be worth it, but then he was like debating whether like the long-term benefit is worth like the right now suffering. And like basically he said he was like super soul searching right now, and he was like having this like crisis about it. And I was just like, I just like kind of sat there and listened to him. Like that was all I could really do. A combination of like obviously like our relationship is still very new, so I don't want to like speak too much on it, and also just in general when I don't know a lot about a subject, like, and I don't know a lot about the finance world, and also just like corporate America in general. I just started working like 2 years after him, so like I don't want to give too much of my like input because I feel like I don't have much to say from an educated perspective, and also I just know this kind of topic is really touchy in general, so like I don't want to like very very early on with someone I don't really know in a space I don't really know like say too much, if that makes sense. I just like was there to support and listen to him, so that's what I did. And then so again he leaves, next day happens, we're texting again 24/7. The night comes, like I had my own dinner plans, he was working, and then he says the same thing. He was just like, can I like come over, can we cuddle, and like this time like I promise you I'll sleep over, like I'll only come over like when I'm 100% finished with work. And I was like, okay, sure. He finally finishes work maybe around like 11 p.m. And then he like actually like backtracks. He's just like, actually like I don't want to up with you, like we have our date on Saturday, and like maybe we should like wait to see each other then, and like then we'll do our sleepover, then we'll do everything. Like I don't want to like rush this by like meeting up so much and like hooking up so much in the start. Like I actually like see this as special. I see this as something that can be long term, and I can't mess it up with my like we have to control ourselves. And I was like, I was also feeding into it, to be fair. I was just like, no, like come see me, like it's fine. But then I was just like, after a while, because we were going back and forth for a while, that eventually I was like, you know what, maybe you're right, like maybe we should be smart and we should wait, like it'll be better if we wait. And when I said that, immediately he was like, actually like no, like I can't take it, like can I come? And I was just like, yeah, you can come, of course. So he comes over, we hook up again, and then we're cuddling, we're talking, obviously, and this time, like, he actually sleeps over, and we had just, like, a really nice night, like, cuddling, talking, being, like, all intimate and stuff with each other, and then next day is Friday, so the day before, like, our second official date on the Saturday, and I was like, are we still on for tomorrow? And he was like, yes. And then he had told me like when like he was over, he was just like, I got assigned to like these 2 things, like I got staffed, so I have a ton of work suddenly, but like I'll try to crank it out. Like I really really want to make it to our date on Saturday. I really don't want to bail on you, but like I'm just warning you, like I might have to do that. And I was like, okay, like thank you for being upfront about it, like just let me know, right? So this was Friday. We're texting a little bit less because he had made it upfront with me, like, oh, I have a lot of work, I really need to finish it, and I want to finish it before our date on Saturday. And then Saturday comes, and that is where everything goes down, and I'm gonna finish it in a last part tomorrow.
I don't know if it's the age thing, but wow, I know the story was exhausting to you, right? Me too. Anyway, let me know what you think about this story down in the comment section and go ahead and give your advice and some of the things you notice. Go ahead and share your thoughts. Let me come close because I don't know why I'm going out of focus. Anyway, go on and share your thoughts. Really love to, like, I feel like younger girls watching this channel are going to learn from this and advice. If you have any type of advice, go ahead. But I could just see all the red flags and how this young woman has not grown into herself. She still needs the male validation and wants to be in a relationship so bad that she would do anything. The fact that I said no shade to anybody doing a hookup. I know that's the what's the word? Why does this thing keep? What the fuck? Why is this thing not focusing? Good. So come to think about, oh, that's the times we live in, the hookup times where people just hook up with each other. But if you give yourself, she's young obviously, if you give yourself if you know yourself, and I know it comes with age, it comes with a lot of unlearning, because whether you like it or not, I always say this here on this channel, it has been embedded in us as women to always seek the validation of men, to always want to be with a man, to always want to be in a relationship. And this has put that scarcity mindset also for young women and even women in generally, and also that need that we are in chase of a romantic relationship, that we're ready to put up with all sorts, like downplay a lot of red flags, a lot of things that does not serve us. And if you know, on this channel, one thing that we are big on is the fact that we are very intentional with our life and do things that serves us. And if something does not serve you as a person, don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. But clearly you can see this young woman, she needs that validation so bad that she's ready to put up with anything this guy brings. The fact that this guy has showed you his true color, and this is something we also talk about here a lot. When people show you who they are, take them for who they are and stop making excuses for them. The fact that she's still giggling, laughing, and like, oh, we can talk, we can talk, we can talk, oh, we are talking again, and all that, you can clearly see. And the truth is that men like this, when they know that they can walk you this way and toss you around, they are going to do it. And the general saying I usually say, people treat you the way you allow them to treat them. So when you tell somebody that you can mess up with me and yet I'll still take you back and treat you like nothing happened, what this young lady needs is to find herself, find an hobby, unlearn what it is to be with a man, I'll be in a relationship, love being by herself, enjoy our own company, be herself, know herself. That's what she needs. She needs therapy to unpack some of the reasons why she's so in desperate need of a relationship, a romantic relationship. And I know, yes, being with somebody, being in a relationship is human nature, and as a nation, it's human nature to want somebody that, but for you to be with somebody that treats you like ass and makes you feel some type of way, and you know a lot of this relationship is not going anywhere, but yet you're ready to put up with it, it has a lot of unpacking to do why you put yourself through that. You get it? So I feel like that's what she needs to do it. And if you're in that type of situation, please do it. This is why I like, okay, even though the story was so long and all that, I tried like to make it through, so because one or two persons going to learn something out of this. Anyway, guys, go ahead and share your thoughts. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and this girl. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.